So a lot of people think that you should always be able to do a body weight squat before doing a loaded squat. But in many cases, using a weight on the front side of the body actually acts as a counterbalance. And that can actually make it a little bit easier for us to maintain this stacked position as we move up and down in a squat. And so you see, contrary to popular opinion, the actual loaded squat there was a little bit cleaner than the body weight squat. Hey guys, Greg Chaplin here, physical therapist and strength conditioning specialist. In this video, I want to talk about how to modify your squat to reduce mid-back tension. So if you're someone that has mid-back tension when squatting, you're definitely going to want to stay tuned to this video. And we're also going to slip in a little demonstration of one of my favorite squatting variations, the Zercher squat. So if you're not familiar with that, make sure you stick around. And we're also going to review these Harderwill squat wedges that I just got that I just love, and I think they might be the best one yet. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So first of all, why do people get mid-back tension when squatting? So most people are getting mid-back tension when squatting because they're losing the connection between their rib cage and their pelvis. So the stacked position of the rib cage and pelvis, they're not quite getting, and oftentimes they're actually getting the torso coming forward while the hips are moving back. And one of the things that really gets in the way for people when they develop this kind of a pattern over time is that if they're doing activities like traditional squats or deadlifts, a lot of times because of the angle of the trunk, you're actually putting gravity directly onto these muscles. So these muscles are having to work, and it's not that that's a bad thing, but when you don't have that stacked relationship or the ability to maintain or attain that stacked relationship, a lot of times what you'll feel is just too much tension in that mid-back area. And over time, if this becomes your only movement option, this can really limit you. So in order to restore the movement and reduce the tension here, we want to restore that ability to maintain that stacked position. So there's two ways that we're going to restore this stacked position in a squat. And the first one is going to be how we're loading the weight. So a lot of people think that you should always be able to do a body weight squat before doing a loaded squat. But in many cases, using a weight on the front side of the body actually acts as a counterbalance. And that can actually make it a little bit easier for us to maintain this stacked position as we move up and down in a squat. So I'm just going to demonstrate a body weight squat here and then one with a weight. And I'm going to show you how that can actually impact the ability to maintain a little bit better alignment between the upper and lower body. So here's a squat where we're squatting down, and this is just a body weight squat. I'm going to keep my hands close so I don't have much counterbalance here. And I'm going to do my best. So we're going to come down and then back up. And so as you can see, as we come down, the upper body stays just a little bit forward of the lower body. And I'm doing my best to maintain that stacked position with no weight, but it is a little bit difficult. Now I'm going to add the weight into this Zercher squat, which is a fantastic barbell variation. So if you're someone who likes to train in the gym and you've trained pretty heavy in the past and you're still looking to be able to load your squat up pretty decent, but you also want to minimize some of those secondary consequences from those other activities we talked about, this can be a really, really good variation for you. So in the Zercher squat, we're going to hold the weight in the crook of the elbow. And what this does is it positions the arms below shoulder level. So as we reach these elbows forward, we'll actually get a little bit of expansion in that mid-back area. Now we can lean back against this because now we have a counterbalance, and you'll see as we come down, we're able to maintain a little bit more of a vertical position, a stacked position, if you will, between the upper and lower body. Coming down and back up. And so you see, contrary to popular opinion, the actual loaded squat there was a little bit cleaner than the body weight squat. And so I would encourage you to play around with the loading here. You could do this if you're not a barbell type lifter with something like a goblet squat. That would work just fine, just holding a weight out in front of you. Now the other thing that can be really useful is using squat wedges to elevate the heels. So we've talked about heel elevation in a previous video. We talked a little bit about it in terms of knees and a little bit about your back. So if you haven't seen that already, you might go up and watch that as well. But what heel elevation does in general is it biases us towards an earlier phase of gait. It allows us to put more weight in the heels, and it allows the back of the body to open up a little bit more easily. So real quick, we're going to plug these squat wedges from Harderwill that I just got because I just kind of love them. And if you wanted to pick up a pair, you could go down into the description and buy them through my affiliate links, which I would earn a small commission on. So I would absolutely love you for that if you did that. But I think these have a couple of distinct advantages over some of the slant boards that I've seen out there. So the slant boards work great. If you watch my other video, you'll know that I actually built my own, and I have a couple of the foam ones as well, which are pretty good. But these Harderwill squat wedges they just have a really good construction to them first and foremost. So they're kind of fun just to handle. They're heavy, they're dense rubber. They're pretty cool. Just, you know, they just kind of feel good. But beyond that, in terms of function, the thing that I like about them is they come in sets of 4. So you have these 2 small wedges, and then you also have these 2 slightly larger wedges. And the small wedges can actually get placed right on top of the larger wedge. And what that does is it allows you to get pretty much a maximum height there, right? That's a steeper angle. Or you can use just the one larger wedge, or you can use just the one smaller wedge. So that's pretty cool because it gives us almost this Goldilocks situation where we can, you know, use a lot, kind of medium, or a little bit of heel elevation. And this is a very personal thing. So if you're someone who's used heel elevation before, you know that up to a point it can actually be beneficial, but then past that point it might actually start to reverse the effect, and you might feel like you're actually getting pushed forward. So you're going to want to try out different levels of heel elevation, and if you only have a one level kind of slant board, a lot of times you're kind of stuck with what you got, but here you have at least 3 options. So that's the first thing. Now the second thing that I really like about these from a functionality standpoint is that we can stagger or offset these. So if we need to go wider, we can go wider, or if we need to bring one forward and the other back, we can do that too. So that's really useful when we're trying to restore movement, because oftentimes we're trying to make one side of the pelvis do one thing and another side do another thing. So the fact that we can stagger these out and make them various widths means that these are going to be really much better at helping us to achieve goals such as improving movement. So now that we've talked about some of the advantages here, I'm just going to show you what a squat looks like with these wedges underneath. So comparing this to the previous variation, I think you're going to notice that I'm able to achieve a very, very vertical position in the torso. Okay, so once again, we're going to grab the weight under the crook of the elbow. Okay, we're going to reach forward with the elbows so they break the plane of the body. We're going to lean back with the upper body so the upper body's over the pelvis. We're going to lean back a little bit so the weight is primarily in the heels, and then we're going to come down, touch, and right back up. And as you'll see, we can pretty much go down very vertically and very smoothly there. So there you have it, guys. 2 things to think about when you're trying to improve mid-back tension during squatting. You want to get that stacked position, holding a weight out in front of your body as a counterbalance, or elevating the heels. If you do elevate the heels and you want to try out these Harderwill squat wedges, feel free to go down in the description below and buy them through my affiliate link. I would definitely appreciate that. You'd be awesome. And I think that just about does it for today. So thanks a lot for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, leave me questions down below in the comments, like this video, and until next time, peace.